Hi everyone, it's time for Knuckles and Knuckles and Knuckles and Knuckles and Knuckles and Knuckles and Knuckles.
This
and
meme
Knuckles
sucks. Featuring Dante from the Devil May Cry series is funnier. I said it.
No, featuring no. My favorite is featuring Crash from the Dark Souls series.
I think the best punchline. The best punchline in this mode. The best punchline in this mode is what happens if you don't get the Chaos Emeralds by the end. Because you know how the normal ending has Knuckles normally escaping the Titanic Monarch on an escape
there's three
pod
Knuckles.
Yeah, there's a Knuckles in the escape pod, there's the Knuckles you're playing as, and there's the Knuckles who's following you. So it's Knuckles and Knuckles and Knuckles. The meme has become reality.
Just might be a slightly exaggerated retelling.
Oh, look, it's that fake Knuckles again, of all places.
I like how
Knuckles, you're the fake Knuckles around here.
the second Knuckles just like casually walks up to you, he's like, dude, you alright, bro?
I'm your conscience. It's time to go.
But now we can finally have eventual mod community of putting one like a Rastafarian hat and one with a Beatnik hat, and boom, we're done. We've made it real.
Damn right. That's it.
No, you're supposed to
Where's
play
my
as
pay-
Eggman, not as Knuckles.
Where's my fucking paycheck?
You don't even know your own memes, guys. Jeez.
I
Shake
do
my
know our
head.
own memes, but that's not the point.
Shake my head.
Okay, you make it that
no,
so
no,
smart.
SMH Ted.
SMH,
God damn it. Yeah, SMH.
It's almost like that sounds really, really stupid when you say it out loud.
Yeah, it really is. Bonus point if you pronounce it phonetically.
Smuh. Smuh.
Come on, guys.
You know, internet abbreviations are dumb. For like the longest time, I thought like TFW was supposed to be the same as MFW, which is my face when, which is not quite the same thing as that feel when. So, so I'm always like, whenever I saw that, I was like, is that grammatically correct?
I thought for the longest time I thought it was the fuck when and my fuck when, and I was like,
Well, my fuck men make you sound desperate.
my fuck
The other
when.
thing is,
My
Hey,
fuck
wait,
when.
hey,
half of
that
these-
fits for a traditional internet troll. My fuck when. I'm such a nice guy.
I'm pretty sure that like a good half of these internet expressions are like way young and new and recent too.
How do you do, fellow kids?
Anyway, yeah, Knuckles. He's got
And
different.
Knuckles.
He's got different routes through the levels, like he did in Sonic 3 and Knuckles. Although I am slightly disappointed that apart from one part late in the game, his path through the game isn't as different as I expected it to be.
No.
He has a few really different parts of the game, and most of his game is unfortunately the same as Sonic's.
Well,
It wasn't too different in Sonic 3 and Knuckles, but it felt more different in part because his story had some different environmental storytelling pieces, so it was a bit more novel there.
Well, I think it was just more consistent in Sonic 3 and Knuckles because, well, it hits you as early as the first act. Because Angel Island, you went through the underground.
It was also more of a production, ironically, when you played through Sonic 3 as Knuckles, because there were a surprising number of Knuckles exclusive areas in that game.
Yes.
Might have also been like the novelty of it of playing Knuckles for the first time.
Well, there was that, but the vast majority of Knuckles' exclusive areas were actually in Sonic 3, so you didn't get to experience them if you didn't lock on, which is weird. And
Or
really,
clip through a wall.
Yeah, it was weird, and it really pointed to them really, really wanting to have made Sonic 3 one game.
Yeah.
which is probably like I know that this is an unpopular opinion, but I honestly would have been much happier.
Pikmin 2 sucks.
Pikmin 2 does suck. But my biggest issue with Sonic 3 is that it feels bloated. So had they had tried to squish it down to one cartridge, I feel like I would enjoy it a little bit more. Because I feel like trying to play Sonic 3 or Knuckles on its own is too short, but trying to play them both together is far too long.
I see the argument for that,
Yeah.
but at the same time,
Everything is so good to me. Aside
what
from Sandopolis, I don't really mind it that much.
Not to mention its size is just from a shitload of ambition.
It's weird,
That's why I
though,
love it so much.
that you say too big, because honestly, I don't feel like Sonic 3 and Knuckles is necessarily any longer than, say, your Super Mario 3s.
Oh, well, I don't... Well, here's the thing is, I don't, like... Honestly, I get tired of Super Mario 3, too, if I'm trying to play that in one sitting.
The thing is, they weren't necessarily made for one sitting. They're games that were built for the save files, which were a new thing at the time.
Which is weird when you're playing Sonic and Knuckles and then they're just suddenly gone. Unless you
it's very weird. And the weirdest part is that there is some kind of save functionality in the Sonic and Knuckles cartridge, because you don't get the entire save feature from Sonic 3 alone. You don't get to save your lives or continues or anything when you're using Sonic 3 alone. That part is on the Sonic and Knuckles cartridge for some bizarre reason.
Well, they're the two parts of the same machine.
Unfortunately, that meant, like, if you ever so much as touched the Sonic 3 cartridge without Sonic and Knuckles locked on, it would mess with your save files and delete your Sonic and Knuckles save.
Oh, so if you just forget to put in Sonic, you forget to lock on, you can ruin your...
You can... What would wind up happening is
just
that you
clipped
would
through
wind
that
up...
entire poll, for the record.
No, those are never solid to begin with.
Oh!
You
Ted,
would wind up
damn it, it's a callback to the Saturn era.
You would wind up at best with a save file that had lost all your lives and continues and stuff, but sometimes I would end up with a save file that was just back at Launch Base Zone for some reason. And I had to play through the Sonic and Knuckles portion and get all the Super Emeralds again. It was weird. Very weird. So, basically, the takeaway from this is that when I was a kid, I was deathly afraid of taking Sonic and Knuckles and Sonic 3 apart. Like, I wouldn't detach the cartridges from each other even when I wasn't playing them.
Let's dig a little deeper.
The other thing, I was afraid not only because I would lose my save files if I booted up Sonic 3 on its own, I was also afraid that because of the way cartridges worked, if you detached the cartridges from each other, there was always a chance you would boot up the locked-on game, and it wouldn't detect it properly that it was locked on. You got hit by the first boss, Ryan. Come on, it's Storm Eagle.
Well, I don't care. I'm just trying to finish it as quickly as possible. I don't care about ring score.
Got hit by the first boss. Oh no.
Oh no. I was tempted of editing in the oh no every time the second Knuckles got hit.
Well, hey, there's a Mania mod for that.
There is?
Yeah, there's a Mania mod for that.
Unsurprising.
There's also a bounce pad mod, where Sonic will say bounce pad whenever he hits a bounce pad.
I don't know of a worser hell.
Or anytime you go to a sub, those look like ramps. We can use those as ramps.
It's not even...
It's almost like these roads were built for me.
It's not even a replacement for the boing sound. The boing sound is there too, but he says bounce pad every time he hits the bounce pad.
Bounce pad!
There's a surprising number of... There were a surprising number of mods for Sonic Mania, like, basically the moment it hit PC.
The Knuckles mod, for the special stages.
But I'm just boggled by how long it took the patch to come out for consoles.
Yeah.
This, just so you know, this is the pre-patch, because I had to get it done. So there will be a few instances where I'll have to be Super Knuckles kind of unintentionally.
That's
but I do my best. I do my best to not do so.
Yeah, because you can't glide without starting up Super Knuckles.
Yeah. And that leads to a really unfortunate death trap in Lava Reef Act 2. Did you ever run into that? Because I did.
I'm sure I ran into it once, but I can't remember if I ran into it in the recording.
There's this really long bottomless pit you have to glide over, and then hit a wall and then climb. But you're flying through a fuck ton of rings on your way through. So what winds up happening is that if you hit 50 rings while gliding across and then hit that wall, you can't glide to the other wall, because the moment you try to glide, you'll transform into Super Knuckles. And you can't glide out of the Super Knuckles transformation animation, so you fall to your death, inevitably. It's cheap as fuck.
Yeah, that's when you pray to your Master Emerald and hope everything will be alright.
Yeah. It's not a problem in the current version of the game on consoles or PC. PC had the Super Transformation button from launch, and the patch has been released on consoles. At least I think it's been released on all consoles.
Yes, it has.
It's been released, yeah.
Is the game still as generally buggy post-patch?
No. Which, again, we discussed it during the initial commentary, but that was originally supposed to be a day one patch.
We're not really sure why
Brad Flick, one of the programmers, Brad Flick, told me so, but apparently
we're not sure why it wasn't.
Yeah, apparently it might have been something on Sony and Microsoft's end because it was supposed to be a day one patch.
Huh.
There seems to have been some mismanagement corporate side for this game.
Yeah.
What?
What do I do with this code? What do I do with this code?
Let's not even talk about Denuvo, or Denuvo, whatever it's called.
Is the
The DRM.
The really bad DRM. That's the takeaway from this, and I wasn't really informed on this until someone pointed me toward an informative article on the topic after I asked about it. It's not just that DRM is involved in this game, it's the specific type of DRM that's kind of bullshit in a lot of ways. Like, there's some computer resource hogging involved. There's the fact that it needs to check online like once a week or so to verify that you're not pirating the game.
Yeah,
after you verified it.
Yeah, that's the thing. You can't expect games not to have DRM because ultimately you have to expect companies to want to protect from privacy.
Technically, DRM is anything that involves digital rights management.
Yeah.
So, like, the verification code that comes with your CD is a form of DRM. That's fine though. It's not intrusive and it doesn't have a drawback for the consumer. Denuvo has a lot of drawbacks for the consumer.
Yeah, that's the big thing. It's more a matter of whether or not this stuff is detrimental to...
Yeah. And the big problem with it is that for all the drawbacks that it has for the consumer, the trade-off is that it just takes slightly longer for pirates to crack it. And once pirates have cracked it, all it's doing is causing drawbacks for the consumer.
Well, you can't have companies just not do something to prevent from pirates because they'll do it anyway.
You can't just remove DRM entirely
well,
because...
you can, and a lot of companies do, just not that many companies.
It looks bad to your stockholders if it's like, yeah, we're just not going to even try because you can't do that. You can't justify that to people who want to invest in your company.
You can, but it takes some arguing, and not everyone's going to buy it. That's why a lot of companies opt not to do it, but some companies do. And occasionally you'll see, you'll know which companies they are because they put their games up on GOG day one. But it's the rare company that's willing to risk that. It's viable, but it's going to take some time for companies to prove to investors that it is viable. So, you gotta, I guess we just gotta keep counting on those few corporations that are going to be the pioneers of that. And
at the same time, though, I won't blame a company for implementing some sort of DRM as long as it's not the DRM that gets on everybody's shit.
Denuvo or something that's
bad. As long as it's not the one that everybody fucking hates. Because I agree, if it's really fucking intrusive, like, if, like, every goddamn day I log onto the game and I gotta verify it, it's like, come on, guys.
Yeah.
Like, that's what the CD key's for.
Unfortunately, Denuvo seems to be Sega's current go-to DRM.
Yeah, it also sounds like some sort of, like, third-party chocolate milkshake drink. I don't know why. Like,
what?
Do you want some Denuvo?
It sounds like some sort of like diet version.
Yeah,
diet DRM.
or like one of those medicines you see advertised on TV for like you need to cure this one problem that you have that will cause 50 different side effects that will just make your life worse.
Made from real chicken sinew,
whatever that is.
Do you sometimes have an itchy ass? Take Denuvo. Side effects may include thoughts of suicide, rashes, burning sensations, and the inspicable urge to go dancing in the moonlight.
The really annoying thing though was that at launch, and this was actually a bug with the game's coding, presumably because this game wasn't designed for Denuvo by the actual developers because they didn't know it was happening. It was always online for the first day or so. It was set in always online mode. It wouldn't. Man, this is pathetic.
Ryan doesn't care.
Fucking Storm Eagle.
Yeah, I don't care.
I know.
I mean, it's like I'm not gonna give Ryan too much shit. I'd be tanking
this
thing too.
It's the first boss.
I don't care.
It's the Death Egg robot.
You didn't beat that any faster than I did, and I didn't take any hits except for the bubble shield. No, you didn't.
Yes, I did.
Hey, you apologize to Knuckles. And Knuckles while you're at it.
Well, in any case, what was I saying? Yeah, the game was always online for the first 24 hours, and that caused a massive shitstorm, because why would this game always be online? I mean, that's bad enough when it's something EA does, like that SimCity snafu, but
it enhances your gameplay experience because
No, it doesn't.
People on the next town over can spawn meteor swarms on your town, and then you'll have to redo everything all over again. That's an enhancement, I think. Maybe.
yeah, but you know what? That kind of stuff can be done in Dark Souls, and you can turn the online off. So, yeah.
So Dark Souls is the DRM
anti-Dark Souls.
of Dark Souls?
No. Dark Souls does not have always online DRM. It just has online multiplayer capabilities.
Okay,
really
Dark
cool
Souls
ones.
is the Dark Souls of SimCity. Okay, that's what you're telling me. All right.
Between the lines, the D and DRM means Dark Souls.
Man, you're going this way. I haven't seen this side of the level since Sonic 2, when I was a kid. I always jump that spring in the other direction and go that way.
I just stopped playing the game differently than I am.
I know.
I forgot the side of the
I'm
level
playing it
even
the true way.
I forgot the side of the level even existed, and for good reason. It's slow. That
And this
I was
is Sonic,
expecting it to
and this is Sonic. You must go fast.
This is Knuckles. He doesn't need to go fast. He's supposed to be looking for emerald shards. What kind of game is this?
The rest of them.
Speaking of Knuckles and going fast, I'm glad that they kept the differences between Sonic and Knuckles, which was something I don't think Sonic Advance did.
I know that he still had the glide. I don't remember
They
if
put
he...
another
jumped just
big
as high,
ring at the
yeah.
bottom of another water pit? They did that twice?
No, that's
Yep.
that's the fastest. If you go to the left at the machine, you can get to that ring in like 20 seconds. That's what
I know, but like there are two big rings at the bottom of water pits, though.
Yeah, but
I did not know that.
yeah, but
Also,
that's
what
the
the
easiest ring to
fuck
get
are
to.
we
That's
doing
what I
in the-
tried to do when farming for Chaos Emeralds
God.
before I gave up because I hate
This
these
isn't
stages
just
still.
this isn't just the Mushroom Kingdom. This is the Mushroom Kingdom in 2089. It's
Wow, Peach's castle in the background looks weird.
It's sci-fi Mushroom Kingdom. Jesus Christ. You know, I didn't notice this until like my 5th playthrough, but the backgrounds there are a lot of different backgrounds in the special stages, and one of the funniest ones. I can't believe we didn't know this while commentating, but do you know when I went into a special stage at the bottom of a purple water pit and chemical plant, the background of the special stage. This was a coincidence because it happens no matter where you hit that special stage. It was flooded with purple water. They had a background for that.
Huh. Wait, I did not know that.
Yeah, there's a background for one of the special stages where you're just underwater and the water is purple. And I, by sheer coincidence, hit that special stage when I went into the big ring that was underwater. So, just shows you how much attention I was paying at the time. Hint, not much. And I didn't notice the Mushroom Kingdom from the future background until just now, so... Ah, man. H-Bomb was right. Fallout 3 did turn me into an unobservant idiot. Why do you even bother climbing the walls in these pits?
Because it's
'Cause I feel
Knuckles.
like it.
You're Knuckles.
It's Knuckles.
It actually
Remember, he
just
just
slows you
said
down.
he was an unobservant idiot.
No, but like, it just slows you down. It's actually slower than jumping a lot of the time.
Yeah, but it's easier.
To me, it's just fucking habit. If I'm Knuckles, I know I can climb walls. I'm gonna
Yeah,
climb walls.
do it.
but it just slows you down because you
Yeah.
end up getting stuck.
Lewis for GDQ hype.
The well, if you're trying a speedrun tactic and it slows you down, that's not good.
No, you're not. You're just playing mind games, Lois. Mind games.
Yep.
The what I was saying, I'm glad that they kept the differences between Sonic and Knuckles' gameplay, though, which is something that I don't think Sonic Advance did.
No, Knuckles jumps just as high as Sonic in Advance 1.
Yeah, it's not just the jumping, though, it's also his acceleration and top running speed without a downward slope. He's not as fast as Sonic, which was something I always kind of liked, even if it does make playing as him a bit of a drag in comparison.
It's such a minute difference. It's not that big of a deal.
Yeah, in Sonic 3 and Knuckles, I
it's
didn't
a
really
minute
notice that
difference,
too
but,
much.
you know, I play Sonic so often that I really feel that speed drop.
So wait, let me get this straight, Knuckles. You went further into the abyss?
I gotta get them rings, man.
The Abyss. I love that movie.
Man.
So yes, Sonic can get all the Chaos Emeralds by Studiopolis Act 1. Knuckles can get it done in Chemical Plant Act 1.
I'm pretty sure it's capable of Sonic.
I think
We just
Sonic
need
is
to look
capable of getting
deeper.
it through getting it by the end of Chemical Plant, but Knuckles has access to exactly one special ring that Sonic can't reach.
So Knuckles is better than Sonic, confirmed.
Slightly.
What is that in the background now? Now that we're talking about backgrounds and special stages, I'm wondering what the fuck is
Something
that
abstract that you're not supposed to pay attention to. All right, you guys are thinking too
No,
hard.
but if it's abstract, that means it needs to be discussed.
No,
It's not really
no.
abstract.
Art student time.
It's not really abstract. I mean, you've got these weird shapes floating
The
around.
blue
but then you've
coloring
got
signifies the end of a journey.
Well,
Knuckles' depression for being neglected for so many years.
it's not just colors and shapes.
Shaking my head.
It's
There's
black
this
because
kind of outer
darkness,
space
no
bubble
parents.
There's this kind of outer space bubble thing with a planetary ring and a sun in it.
Looks like a-
I don't get
that
it.
looks like a
but
Pokeball.
I like it.
Generation 8 confirmed.
Another thing that kind of bugs me though is Knuckles' name.
Now
is-
Knuckles
and
can
the-
be Super Knuckles.
Is Knuckles.
Every bit of text except for the end act text that involves Knuckles' name. Knuckles' name pushes text outside of the borders. It looks sloppy as hell, man. Couldn't you have extended that? Just a little bit. I don't know, formatting problems like that bug me. Eh.
You think they do all the text editing in Microsoft Word? Everything should have like a underline.
Now, if this was
They're actually using
Microsoft,
it on the.
it would make sense though, because every time you increase the size of one thing in Microsoft Word, your entire project is just thrown into whack. Your pictures are 3 pages earlier. Your margins are terrible now. You start over. You're done.
Better than
There you insert word art.
But
Yeah.
sometimes, it's better. Sometimes I'd rather just take the red squiggly
That
line
was
over
lucky.
than just
That was
Sometimes I would just take the red squiggly line over what some other editing programs do. Well, they'll automatically autocorrect the word for you. For God's sakes, I meant Riku, not Rick. I mean, I understand. It's a normal name.
I'm just gonna more Rick.
I turned myself
man.
into a weeaboo, Morty. I'm weeaboo Rick.
I have this friend on the forums who's had internet trouble for the last couple months and has been stuck chatting on his phone for a long time. His phone's autocorrect has been destroying all of his text. It's led to some amusing typos. Let's just say that. Yeah. Speaking of, SwiftKey keyboard is a really great mobile phone keyboard for Android. Why? Because you can adjust the autocorrect or even turn it off.
Not a sponsored video.
Where can I get this, Lewis?
Hashtag not a sponsored video, but yeah, Google Play. I recommend it. It's a good and highly customizable keyboard, and it lets you turn off the autocorrect, which has saved me so much trouble when typing on my phone.